Hey Cowboys Nation, let's go for another round of news from America's team. Watch until the end so you don't miss any news and sign up to stay tuned for everything that comes out about the Cowboys.
Cowboys predicted to trade QB to NFC rival for draft pick. As the old saying goes, if you can't beat them, make them deeper. Well, maybe not, but that's what the Cowboys would be primed to do if they went ahead with a move suggested by Bleacher Report this week, which would deal away backup quarterback Trey Lance to Green Bay. The haul for sending away Lance, who did not throw a single pass for the Cowboys in 2023, to an NFC rival, the 126th pick in the draft, aka the Packers' fourth-round selection. Now, despite the suggestion from BR, that would be an odd move for the Cowboys to make in the midst of a contract standoff with quarterback Dak Prescott. The team and Prescott have made no progress on a new deal for the Pro Bowl QB, which means he is slated to enter the 2024 season with a $59 million salary and only 1 year left on his contract. That is an untenable situation, but it does appear that there is a very real possibility that the Cowboys want Prescott to show he can lead the team through the regular season and, finally, take them deep into the playoffs before committing to another long-term deal for him. And Lance is their one bit of leverage, the sliver of a backup plan to allowing Prescott to hit free agency next year. Trey Lance trade viable if Dak Prescott is re-signed, so trading Lance does not seem to be a viable option for the Cowboys, at least not until the Prescott situation is worked out. Lance, the number 3 pick by the 49ers in the 2021 draft, is the Cowboys' current plan B at quarterback. But let's hear out BR on why such a trade could go down with the Packers, a team that is pretty well set up for the future at quarterback with Jordan Love. The Packers have showcased their ability to develop a backup quarterback with Love. Coming out of Utah State, he had a bounty of physical gifts, and his time on the bench in Green Bay has clearly helped him become a viable franchise quarterback. Lance is in the final year of his rookie contract. It's at least worth it for the Packers to give the Cowboys a call. At worst, Lance plays out the final year of his contract and leaves in 2025. At best, he shows improvement and either becomes the long-term backup or brings back an even higher pick in a trade down the road. It's a fair summation of the situation, though it's hard to see how he would get many opportunities to show improvement if he is firmly behind Love on the depth chart. Cowboys using ultimatum. The only way the Cowboys would trade away Lance for a fourth-rounder would be if the team was determined to bring Prescott back after all, and was committed to filling as many of its roster holes as possible through the draft. That is a logical resolution here, but it's not traditional logic that is determining this situation. Logically, the Cowboys should work out an extension with Prescott and get a pick back for Lance. Owner Jerry Jones is using a different sort of logic, though, determined to force Prescott to earn his keep by winning a playoff game or two before capitulating to a new contract. It's essentially an ultimatum. Maybe that's a fair and shrewd way to force the team, and Prescott, to raise their level. Maybe it's at least worth trying that before just rubber stamping a humongous new deal. Or maybe Jones has second thoughts and gives in on a new contract for Prescott, and does look to trade away Lance. There's still time for that, but it just does not yet look likely. Cowboys signed Tyron Smith replacement for 6th free agent move of 2024. It's probably not the left tackle move most would have wanted when free agency began back in March, but the Cowboys at least kept a grip on some veteran depth as they looked to fill the gap left by 8-time Pro Bowler Tyron Smith's departure to the Jets. The team was expected to re-sign tackle Chuma Edoga on Wednesday. Edoga filled in for Smith at left tackle 4 times in 2023, when he started 6 games altogether. There's a chance that he will be called on to do so again, this time as the permanent starter in 2024, replacing Smith. The Cowboys have the option of moving left guard Tyler Smith over to his natural tackle spot, but coach Mike McCarthy said last week that the intention was to keep Tyler Smith in the fold at guard and fill the left tackle spot elsewhere. Edoga is the obvious candidate for that spot, but there are a handful of star-level offensive linemen in the upcoming draft who could be ready to assume the role, and the Cowboys are said to be willing to use their first-round pick on one. If they make that pick and the layer is not quite ready to be a starter, Edoga is a comfortable plug-in. Chuma Edoga backed up Tyron Smith. Edoga is 26 and heading into his 6th NFL season. He was originally drafted by the Jets in the 3rd round in 2019, and was claimed by the Falcons after New York let him go 3 years later. He spent 1 year in Atlanta but only played 2 games before the Falcons put him on IR. The Cowboys signed him last year. He registered a 61.4 grade for the season at Pro Football Focus, which ranked him 54th out of 81 tackles in the NFL last year. Udoga could start in 2024, but the more he starts, the more something likely has gone wrong in Dallas. The team would prefer he remain a backup. As ESPN's Cowboys beat man Todd Archer wrote when analyzing the signing, what it means: the Cowboys have covered themselves at the swing tackle spot. Udoga appeared in 17 games last season, starting 4 at left tackle and 2 at left guard. He struggled late in the season against Miami, but he did enough to warrant to be brought back for another look. Eventually the Cowboys have to see what recent draft picks Asim Richards, Matt Wielecko and Josh Ball can do. Cowboys still adding to offensive line. Still, the tackle spot remains an open question, one of many for the Cowboys. When the Cowboys drafted Tyler Smith as a first-rounder in 2022, the thinking was that Tyron Smith would retire and Tyler Smith would take over at tackle. But Smith has proven to be an effective guard, with a 74.4 PFF grade for 2023, 11th in the NFL among guards. The concern with moving Smith to take Tyron Smith's spot at tackle is that Tyler Smith might not be up for the job, which means Dallas will lose a very good left guard and gain an overmatched left tackle. Tyler Smith will take another step, McCarthy said. We'll keep him at guard right now, see how it unfolds, but I thought we took a big step. If you look at the makeup of our offensive line last year where our younger players were backups and got to play too. I mean, you can put Brock Hoffman in the same category. He's been here and no one was as close to Tyler Biadasz as he was. So I think that's a natural step for him to step in there and we'll continue to grow. But we definitely do want to continue to add talent and depth to that room. Cowboys warned against reunion with fan favorite ex-Pro Bowler. Just as soon as the news that a potential reunion between the Cowboys and former star running back Ezekiel Elliott might yet be nigh, we get a reminder that such a remarriage might not be that great an idea. Yes, in an offseason in which the team has done little but gone backward and set itself up for a turbulent future, rehiring Elliott would give Dallas a much-needed feel-good moment. But it would be brief, because bringing back Elliott would mean a grim short-term future for the Cowboys' running back spot. If he signs on, the Cowboys would have to play him. And if they play him, they would most certainly be reminded of the reason they sent him packing at this time last year in the first place. That's the gist of the warning from the SB Nation site, Blogging the Boys, in an article by analyst LP Cruz titled, Cowboys Free Agents: 2 Big Reasons Why the Cowboys Should Not Re-Sign Ezekiel Elliott. Cowboys might insist on playing beloved star. Let's start by getting into the 2 aforementioned reasons. First, Cruz points out that when the Cowboys last brought back a franchise hero, Jason Witten, the team tried to force production out of him, even though there was clearly little left in his tank. That could well happen again with Elliott, who has as sterling a resume as a Cowboys running back as just about any in franchise history. He led the league in rushing as a rookie, and again in his 3rd season, and led the NFL in yards per game for his first 3 years, at 108.7 yards, 98.3 and 95.6. He scored 68 touchdowns in 7 seasons. Elliott has 3 Pro Bowls and 1 first-team All-Pro selection to his credit. With his track record, the Cowboys would not sign Elliott to be a spectator. He would sign on to play and would sap the life out of whatever rebuilding of the running back room the Cowboys want to do. If Elliott were still on the team would insist upon making Elliott the lead runner due to what he has done for the franchise and his durability throughout the years, never being unavailable long enough to give the team a serious look at any other options on the roster. Jerry will stick by his made men no matter the team's expense, and that cannot benefit the Cowboys if Elliott returns, Cruz wrote. Ezekiel Elliott has lost a step or 2. But as so often happens with NFL running backs, Elliott flamed out under the weight of his early workload. He had 4 great seasons to start his career, but he declined precipitously after that. By his final season in Dallas, in 2022, he tallied 58.4 yards per game and a career-low 3.8 yards per carry. He got another shot with the Patriots last year, but his yards per carry dropped to just 3.5 in New England last season. And that's the other reason not to sign Elliott. He's just not good anymore. Wrote Cruz. When you watch Elliott play, you can see the lack of consistent explosiveness. Furthermore, elusiveness has also been a point of discussion. According to PlayerProfiler.com, the stats don't reflect well for Elliott. In 2023, he had a juke rate of 15.3%, 42, just one breakaway run, and perhaps most damning, and expected points added of -55.3, 150th, and last year with the New England Patriots, Elliott had his worst production per carry with a mere 3.5 yards per rush. The lack of explosiveness, elusiveness, and speed make Elliott an unappealing option.